Today I'm going to show you my favorite gift ideas for your favorite home gym nerd. All under $100 except for one, but most of these are actually closer to 50. Let's go. What's up guys, Kyle with HypertroFit.com, the best place to design your home gym and develop your training program. It is that time of year. We need to figure out what gifts we're getting everybody. And if those of you have a home gym owner in your life, these are some of my favorite items under $100 that I use on a weekly basis, depending on how my training is set up. They're highly impactful, highly affordable, and highly effective. So let's get into the list. Number one is not on this table, and it actually doesn't cost anything. It is an account at GymScape, the app that I built to design your home gym. Start just laying out what you have, what you want, see how things fit, and determine what the next best step is for your home gym. You can sign up with the link below. It's completely free. Just log in with your email and you are ready to go. Now on to what I have on display. We're gonna start on this side of the table with some grip tools. So my primary grip assistance tools that I use are the Gymreaper lifting straps. I also have some hooks up here as well. I've been using Gymreaper products for at least the last 5 years, probably longer. I have no affiliation with this company. I just found them on Amazon one day, picked them up, and I've been using them ever since. Very affordable, very effective. Heavy deadlifts, heavy rows work really, really well. I've dealt with some forearm strain issues in the past, and having the hooks are even more effective in certain situations where you really don't want to be doing a ton of work with your forearm, but you still want to be able to hold on to heavier things. So both of those options are really solid depending on what you're looking for. The next thing that we'll look at is underneath these hooks, and this is the BenchBlokz. So the one that I have here is actually a knockoff, but I do want to promote the actual originator of this, the BenchBlokz brand. Those are awesome tools. So what this is a way to essentially perform board presses, the powerlifting movement, on your own or without needing a bunch of different 2x4s stacked up at various heights to do so. Because of all of these notches that you see on the block itself, it allows you to hook it directly onto the barbell at various heights, ranging from, I believe, 3 inches to 6 inches on this particular variant. There's 4 different levels there, and that's mimicking various heights of BenchBlokz. What that is allowing you to do is shorten the range of motion on your bench press, which can lead to increasing the weight that you're using if you're trying to strengthen your triceps or your lockout, or if you've got a particular spot in the mid-range where you're weakest. This can be a really helpful tool to target that. Side benefit to this is if you're somebody that when you do the bench press, you never feel your chest working, this might completely change that for you. Typically, when that is the case, it's because your shoulders are taking over, and because when you get deeper into the range of motion, you don't actually have an active tension that you can feel any longer in your pec because it all directly went into the shoulder. By shortening that range of motion, you might notice that the extended portion of the movement is where you can still feel your chest, and that is a huge jumping off point for you to actually start making your way down through the rest of the bench press range of motion, feeling your chest. So I highly recommend, if bench press with a barbell has always been trouble for you, the BenchBlokz is one of the best things that you can add into your training and see a difference right away. Piggybacking off of increasing your bench press and tweaking things to make it feel better is the Slingshot from Mark Bell. So I have one of the originals that they still printed the logo on, the reactive and then the standard tension. And what these do is still allow you to go through the full range of motion on the bench press, but they are kind of working as like a bench shirt or an elastic band at the bottom, giving you more stored energy to push out through the top. So this is taking stress off of the joint at the bottom of the movement, making it easier down there. And then as you get stronger towards the top of the movement, doing less of the work for you. So it's a really interesting way to overload the bench press, or again, if you just have cranky shoulders to begin with, continue doing the movement without the additional pressure at the very bottom of it. So I use these fairly regularly. They cycle through my training. It's kind of one or the other, Slingshot or BenchBlokz, depending on where I'm at in my training cycles and what I'm trying to overload, but both are very valuable in their own right. Next up, we're going to look at the Massonomics Drink Spotter XL, because you need to have drink safety in your gym. And beyond drink safety, these things are incredibly useful for holding just about anything. It's one of the strongest magnets you'll ever see in your entire life. You can hook it up to your power rack or any other metal piece of equipment in your gym and load it up with obviously your drinks. You could throw collars in there, a remote, anything you could think of. This is going to be able to hold it. I like the XL because you can fit a larger water bottle and more things in it, but they do have other sizes as well. Moving down below that, we have the EliteFTS Bands. These are the only bands that I ever use. I've trusted them from the very beginning. I've had these for 7-8 years now, and they work incredibly well. So I have the full range of resistances here, starting with the micro, mini, light, average, and strong. I think I got those right. And they do have various lengths as well, depending on what you're trying to use these for. For me, the smaller ones I'm typically using for warm-ups, stretches, or additional resistance on glute ham raises. The bigger ones tend to work really well for assistance exercises with some of my clients, for like assisted pull-ups, assisted dips, or if you're really just trying to apply a ton of band tension to, say, like a box squat or a deadlift, you can rig these up for that as well. I also like to use the light band for reverse banding my hack squat in the back behind me. So there's tons of uses for bands. I don't tend to do a bunch of band only exercises, but when you do need them, I've always trusted EliteFTS to deliver, and I've never once had one of these bands fail on me after years of abuse and use. So highly recommend. Moving up to the front here, we have some mag pins. These are from Titan Fitness, but just about anybody making mag pins, they all kind of do the same thing. What's nice about a mag pin is that you can remove the hitch pin from a lot of rack mounted attachments. Where I find myself using these the most is with my dip attachment. So instead of throwing the hitch pin and then hooking around to make sure that it's stable on the rack, the mag pin does the exact same thing, except it's a magnet, so it's much quicker on and off, and you don't have to mess with it. These things are really sharp looking too, and I just think they're an awesome addition for something that you're already going to be using just with a lower quality hitch pin. Next up, we have two sets of collars. So the first one that I'll talk about are the Lockjaw Olympic collars. I've had these for at least 5 years. These are my go-to collars for every exercise except for deadlifts. It's not that they don't work on deadlifts, I just have a better set of collars for deadlifts. These are super easy on and off. There's no actual like physical bump latch that you have to go over. It's just a completely smooth close, which I really appreciate, and they hold incredibly well. So squats, bench, barbell row, RDLs, stuff like that, anything where I'm not bouncing the weight on the floor at the bottom, those work incredibly well. In the case where I am deadlifting and I want to make sure that between reps absolutely nothing is moving, that's when I use the Rogue USA aluminum collars. These things I've had for probably a couple years now, primarily just because when I got to heavier weights for multiple reps with the Lockjaws, there would be a little bit of slop at the end of those sets. Ever since I started using these for deadlifts, they are perfect. The weight doesn't go anywhere. 500 plus pounds, it does not move. The reason I don't use these for everything is because the tension unloading these is actually so high that it's kind of a little bit, I don't want to say dangerous, it's not dangerous, but you can hurt yourself if your finger gets in the way when you unlatch this thing, compared to this, which is much smoother and easier. So I am very cognizant of what I'm doing when I'm using these, but these are my deadlift collars. Now, the last couple things we have over here, we'll go to the bench wedge first. This is something that I picked up this year and have really enjoyed using. So I primarily use it as a way to turn my incline bench into a utility bench when I'm doing military press. This allows you to have a unobstructed path with your shoulder blades during military press, which I really like, and you can allow your neck and head to push back a little bit further as opposed to being stuffed into the top of your typical incline bench. You can also spin around and use this as a chest support pad depending on the way that you are orienting that exercise, whether that's with dumbbells or a cable machine or really anything that you can come up with. So it's a super versatile, high density piece of foam that can be attached to pretty much any bench with its adjustable buckle, and it works incredibly well at what it does. The final thing that I want to share today, and this one is not under $100, are the Prime Rotate handles and a couple of things that go along with them. So these are one of my most used cable attachments, primarily for lat pull downs and low rows, just because they are so versatile. You can hook them into a bunch of different widths. They swivel very nicely, allowing your joints to take a break depending on what movements that you're doing. But all of that happens with these swivel shackles. So this is something that Bells of Steel just came out with. The day that I saw it, I bought them immediately, and these have been an absolute game changer for the Prime Rotates. So what these are is a small little hook that you can attach to the top of your handles, and they swivel with this nice little carabiner on top. So it's all one complete unit. And the reason that these are so important is because of how small they are. So typically when you have the Prime Rotate handles, and I didn't bring them over here, but they give you two full-size carabiners with a swivel eyelet in between, and that adds a ton of height to these. So when you're doing lat pull downs, especially if you're a taller person, very few machines in the home gym setting are going to allow you to have a full stretch. With these from Bells of Steel, you've now shortened that while still providing the swivel, which is what makes the Rotates so special. So now you can take your Prime Rotate handles, hook them up with the swivel shackles, and then hook them in to a pull down attachment just like this one. I believe this one I got off of Amazon, some no-name brand, but there's all kinds of great options out there from Bells of Steel, Darko, anything in between that is going to allow you to hook these things on. So that is my holiday wish list of stocking stuffer ideas, mostly under $100 except for the Prime Rotates. And if you are interested in the Prime Rotates, definitely be sure to use my discount code to save a further 5% on those. But I would love to know what you guys think. If you have any of this stuff yourself, if there's other ideas in this price range that you really enjoy, let me know in the comments, and I will be sure to check in with all of those. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will catch you again in the next one.